Hello, thanks for joining me. My name's Ed. This is Ed's Mini Empire. We are on episode 6 of Classic Mini Mark III restoration over there. And today, over the next couple of days, nights, whatever, in this video, I'm going to be tackling the heel board section on the driver's side, and that is the bit where the rear subframe bolts to. I've got the repair section here. Nice and brand new. End machine panel again, and the quality is spot on, if you can see that there, if I get the light right. Everything's welded on nice on that end. So this is actually the holes where the subframe mounts bolt through. The reason we're changing that is because I've got both sides to do, but I'm going to do the driver's side first, finish off everything on this side with the quarter panel and the rear bin and everything, and then tackle the other side as another job. The reason we're changing this side is original and it isn't that bad, but this bit here, which welds to the sill inside, is a bit nasty, and it's had a patch on it which I've mostly chopped off now, and it'd just be a nicer job if it was new. The other side needs changing. It has already been changed on the passenger side, but it looks like this has just been stuck over the top, and we can definitely make that neater. So that's why we are doing them both. And that'll give us a nice area to weld all the other bits that come together in that corner too. So let's get over there and see what we're doing. We'll have to make some measurements to make sure that this ends up in the right place so that the subframe actually bolts on properly. I do know the measurement. It is 50.5 inches side to side. It should be fairly easy because it's got new sills on with the floor. This should just fit into that panel, so it should just fit and be right, but you never know. With somebody else has done work to it, you never know what position things are in. So we'll make some measurements first, make sure that at the minute it is the right size, and then at least we know when we're cutting structural bits out that the bits we're putting in are in the correct place. So we'll get over there, we'll get the lights set up, we'll make some measurements, and then we'll make a plan to get it chopped out. Right, so this is the panel that we're changing. Here we go. You can see how that is the same. Now, it would probably save, but it's got some nasty hammer marks here. There's some rust at the bottom here. This is where a patch has been, which was actually patched over here. I chopped that out when I was doing the wheel arch. And it's just a bit naff. And whoever's welded the floor on has seam welded around the edge rather than spot welding it like it should be. So I'm keen to get that put back right as well. So yeah, that's why we're changing it. Originally this is one panel all the way to the other side, and you can buy it as one panel, but that will be a bit of a mission to change, and the rest of it, bar the other side, isn't too bad. I'll quickly show you that side, if I can get moving. There, you can see how this has already had a panel on, but it's just been chucked over the top, and it's a bit naff. So we're going to be doing that side, but we'll focus on the driver's side first. Right, so we need to make sure that the distance between here and the other side is 50.5 inches. So I will find my tape measure, and we'll make sure that's right before we start. Bang on. And the other hole, just in case we're twisted, that's bang on as well. Right, I did also take them measurements. I did some research, found online what that should be, but I have a subframe in storage here as well. I did measure the mounts on the actual subframe, and that was also 50.5 inches. So I'm happy that is correct. Right, in terms of what we're going to be doing, obviously I'm going to need to cut these welds around here that somebody else has already done in the past. That should be fairly easy. I'll just cut that through with the grinder. The panel ends like on this seam, so I'll be able to just I'll cut a little bit up from that seam just so it gives us a little bit of an overlap if we need it. And I can always trim it back later. This panel, which is actually the bottom of the rear seat, is spot welded along this edge from inside, so I'll have to drill that out. And then hopefully that'll just come out. Inside here, I'll show you when we go in, there's a little bit of original sill, which is a bit rogue, which seems to have somehow been missed when the original floors were put out. So it'll be nice to get that out of the way anyway. Right, so I'm going to get my gigs on and gloves and what have you, start making some cuts around here, and then we'll go inside. So just running the belt sander across there makes it visually a bit easier to see where these spot welds are. That panel comes to about here. So we can do a bit of a rough measurement. So about there. So we'll probably leave that end on. We'll just do these ones. See if she breaks loose. Right, we've got them spot welds drilled out from inside, so now, hopefully, that light's going to die on me, I can tell. This should just split off of there. Come on. I got it stuck. Right, we're fully off there. I can see right up there. So we've just got a little nib edge here. No. So we'll get some on. Oh, it's very sharp. Get that bit off in a minute. Right, there we go. Turn that light off because it's doing me nothing. Right, so there you can see we've had a nasty patch on the inside of there anyway. So this is definitely the right way to go. The hole ended up fairly neat. We've got a little repair to do here. I'll get you the right angle. Whoop. So yeah, we've ended up fairly neat. I've got a bit of tidying up to do where the old panels come away. Obviously this bit needs dealt with. I think that's a bit of the original section. But regarding all these spot welds, they came off pretty easy. I'm going to do a little repair here because it'll be really easy to do it now, just where we've had a little bit of corrosion. I'll probably just put like a square piece in there with the lip over for the this piece, the boot floor. The rear seat base kind of welds to the rear bin. I do apologise for this light, it's about to go flat. But yeah, so we've just got a bit tidying up to do around the edges. Yeah, it's looking good. We've got problems. I didn't realise it at first, but whoever's fitted this floor has fitted it wrong and it's going to cause me issues. So I've got this panel fitted, just pushed in. I haven't even cleaned up the edges yet because I've just realised what's gone on. Basically the problem is this floor is welded this side of the heel board, but it wants to be welded this side of the heel board, so that should be on the inside. Now really it doesn't matter, but it does matter, doesn't it? Because it's either right or it's not. I think I can fix it fairly easy. I'll be able to just cut these welds, bend the floor back some, cut down here a little bit, and slot it up, I'm hoping. Bit of levering and a bit of prying and what have you. Same on that side. See, that lip should be on the inside. So this panel is how it should be fitted. On the outside of the sill. So the floor and the sills on the inside of it. With that in there. We have got a bit of a gap here. This bit I'm not worried about, 'cause that just needs tapped around to go clearance for the little filler piece. See how that should be inside that quarter panel, and currently we're sticking proud. So that needs pushed in, and this gap needs closed up. So this panel, this piece needs pushed in as well. That's not the end of the world. I can do that fairly easy. And obviously there's still bits in there from the old one that I haven't cleaned off, so that'll probably contribute to that not sitting perfect. I have measured, and we're the right distance from here to there. So that's essentially where it needs to be. It's just annoying that I'm going to have to undo that bit of floor that you can't see because I've left the light up there. I knew the front was wrong, the front's the same, but it didn't dawn on me that the back's wrong as well. So I should be able to just run the grinder across here, pull that down, leave this out, push that in, and weld it properly. Which is annoying, but you know. But I've got a couple of marks, so I kind of know where this panel needs to sit. It needs to sit back a little bit more, and these bits need to be flush onto this sill piece. It doesn't help that this sill's non-genuine. This bit is too long. I'm going to have to cut that down, which, to be fair, probably going to have to do next, or I'm not going to be able to get in once this is on. Right, so I'll clean up all the bits that I need to clean up inside. I'll get this bit fitting a bit better. and we'll cut the floor and put it right. That's not how I wanted this job to go. Thought it was just going to be put it in, be done. But I could leave the floor like that, but it would make it wrong, because that means half of it will be on the inside and half of it will be on the outside, and that's just a bit gash, and I've got the perfect opportunity to put it right now. Right, I'm going to bash on with the grinder, clean up all the bits I need to clean up, and make it right. There we go, guys. That was a massive chew on. I've managed to sort the floor out, so you can see now it's scruffy at the minute. I know it's not finished. So this panel is now on the correct side of this panel. You can see there how it was before on that side. I managed to cut the welds, and I had to cut the welds that are tacked on the floor there. This all does fit better when you press it together. It does fit back where it was. I had to lever it and bend it a bit, but I managed to knock it back into shape. So we've achieved what we need to achieve, which is putting the floor back right. Now this piece of lip, see, this is like one panel all the way around here. This piece has been chopped off by whoever mangled the floor, so we'll have to make a little piece to go on there, but that's okay. And obviously I've got some repairs and tidying up to do around here, but again, that's okay. The floor obviously needs beating into a bit better shape around here. That was the hardest bit to get in, because there's no give in this panel because it's still all fully welded, so I had to lever it to pop it in. So it's just a bit misshapen, but it does push into place. So I'll push that in, I'll weld it, and then I'll have something solid to hit against when I need to get that the right shape. The panel that we're trying to actually fit, the heel board end, is fitting pretty much. I have adjusted this edge so there's no gap here anymore. Remember before we had a gap? I have had to trim a slither out of there, which I will weld up and make it look like there's still a join there. This is all pretty much butted up. That will bend in once we start welding. These are now a bit too long, so I am going to trim them back. Just here and that one up there. But it fits much better. I measured it and we are pretty much bang on 50.5, give or take a little bit. What I am going to do is I'm going to get a subframe if I use that one outside and strip it down. I'll get hold of another one to be sure to put in before we start welding. But for now, while I'm just getting things in the right place, I'm going to rock with the measurements, so I'm not howking the subframe about loads. Next job, I need to put a patch in here, because that's rotten, and I might as well do it while this is out. So I'm going to cut probably, I don't know, a square like that out and make a new piece. But what I'm actually going to do right now is these are non-genuine floors and sills. So this bit is too long. That should be about that big. I'm just going to nip outside and measure Miles the Mini and see how big his is. But I'm thinking if I just cut pretty much at the bottom of these spot welds all the way along, I'll draw it out obviously, that bottom bit will come off and that'll leave us with pretty much the right size dobber. But I'll have to do that next before we fit this panel, because obviously this covers it. So we're getting there, and it's looking better. If you stand back, it does look better. I'm much happy with this floor, although it's a bit more work and it looks ugly at the minute. It's definitely a better job. Just means I'm going to have to do the other side now. Something to look forward to, I guess. So, some unexpected issues there, but we're making our way through them, and the panel's fitting better, and it's all progress. So we'll get that sill trimmed off, and then we'll carry on with the repairs. Right, I was right. Just been out and measured the other car, and from here to the bottom is about 2 3/4 inch, and on this one we've got nearly 3.5. So get rid of that one. 2 3/4. Up there. 2 3/4. put this proper. So we need to chop that off. I have to go gentle to make sure I don't chop through the bit behind. It's cold in here today, I tell you guys. I feel like the rain's never going to stop. It's absolutely tanking down out there today. But I'm in here, got the heater on, got myself a coffee, and we're going to bash on. Okay then, so we got this bit all trimmed up and tidied up. I've run a belt sander along that sharp edge, just so it's not all raggedy. So next I am going to do this little repair here. We can see obviously we've got some rust there. Now, what I've done is, I've drawn out where I'm going to cut to put the patch. The reason I've done this a little bit larger than, obviously it's just this bit that's rusty, but I've gone a larger area, mainly because we've got a little bit of crackage up here, where I think the metal was thin and where I've been drilling and hammering to get this material out. It's weakened and actually cracked, so we need to go the full width up to like this edge, if you like. And the reason I've come so far down, I could stop here just under that rusty bit, but the likelihood is that just under that rusty bit is probably going to be quite thin, and I want to be able to join this in between some of these spot weld holes. I don't want to be welding through a hole, if you know what I mean. So I've gone for this gap here because I can cut just at the top of this black pen line. And that'll give me some good material to weld this fully along the whole bottom edge, all the way up, and put that lip back on the top. So that'll be nice and strong and neat and tidy. So we're going to get that chopped out, get a new piece made, and then we're going to need to put some holes in this inner sill piece, chuck some primer around, and then I'm going to have to get the subframe out and fit that up. And get a few tacks on things to make sure everything's in the right place, and then we'll go for it after that, seam welding. She's gone. So I'll clean the edges up while I'm at this angle. Got this new piece of steel. It looks rough, but it's just because it's been in my workshop for a while. That's just surface rust. I picked this piece because it's got a nice square edge, so half the job's done for us. So we'll just line that up. A lot of the time you'll see me using cardboard templates for weird shaped panels, but because this one's quite square, I could probably get away with just without. Now I am going to draw this line, although that's not where we're cutting, just because that's going to be our bend line. And then, whoop. Something like that. Probably a little bit less. On that edge. You've just got to freehand it to the best of it. Something like that. Now I'm going to use the grinder because that'll be easier. It's not plugged in. Can you hear this? No, neither can I. It's because I've run out of welding gas. And I can't just pop out and get more because my Mercedes is away getting the headliner fixed, so I currently don't have a car. And I'm here by myself. This is a great turn of events, isn't it? It's alright, I've got a plan. I've got a lift. Somebody's going to give me a lift, a friend of mine, to go and get some more gas. Before people start in the comments, obviously I could use Miles the Mini. However, it's absolutely tanking down outside, and I don't like taking him out in the wet. You could do with a tune-up. Hasn't really been out anywhere since October. Does start and drive, but really wants the plugs and points cleaned and a bit of a check over before we venture out and have a breakdown or something. And there's absolutely zero petrol in it, because I don't like keeping a lot of fuel in there over winter, so I run it down beforehand. So yes, that's why I didn't take that. But I've got the bottle off. I'm going to go shoot out and get some and come back and finish that little job. It probably means I'm not going to get what I wanted done today done. But it doesn't matter. Progress is progress, so we'll carry on. Back. Got some gas. Lost maybe about an hour or so getting that, but is what it is. Let's get it put back on the welder. Carry on. Right, closed. There we go. Now, regulator. Wrap this up a bit. This pipe is ridiculously long. And also now twisted somehow. I guess it's so you can have a separate bottle to your welder. I like just tighten it up like that. Go, tight. Woo! Helps if you turn the switch on. Regulator up. There we go. Job done. Let's get on. Okie dokie then. So we've got that bit in and all cleaned up. I've also drilled the holes in there ready for the little filler piece that comes in here, because it would have been easier to do it before I fitted it. I've also drilled the holes down this side for this panel to weld to. So I've got it pushed in place there. I'm pretty confident that's where she needs to be. And I've just, you can see marked here where I'm going to drill the holes for welding, and I've drawn all the holes on the inside as well, like on that sill strengthener piece inside, and all the way along the back of the floor that we've had to move. So I need to drill 1,000,000 holes to get that ready, and I'm going to drill all them holes, get it prepped, get some paint all in the sill, get some weld through primer on here. Then I'm going to get the subframe in and fit the subframe up and actually tack this into position with the subframe in. So hopefully nothing can be in the wrong place. So I just need to do a little trim here. Drill some holes in this bit that welds through to this strengthening piece here. And yeah, we'll be nearly ready. I've done a lot of that prep work. I didn't film it because it's just me drilling holes. But it's all done. I've got the paint in all the places it needs to be. I'll show you in just a sec. I'm going to have a tidy up because I've got gear absolutely all over. And then I need to get that subframe ready to test fit. And then we can get this in place, subframe in place, and this tacked on, subframe back off, weld the job. So the new panel there, new heel board repair panel with all its holes drilled in. Paint on all of these bits that are going to be hidden, and we've got holes drilled there in the inner sill to weld to that little piece that connects the two. Holes drilled all along the bottom of the floor to weld out on how it should be. Obviously we've got all the holes already done in there, and then I've got weld through primer through all of these bits that are going to be together. And what I've done, if you can see up that sill, is because it was just all bare metal inside here. If I was fitting this floor from the start, I would have done this before it went on because it would have been easier. But I weld through primer this end because this is going to get welded. But from this end onwards, you can see I've got red oxide primer, and I'm all the way to the front bar about so much where it's actually tacked on, and I can't. What I did was I levered it open and was spraying in with it open with a screwdriver. I'll get that other end when we come to the front end of the floor. So at least there's some protection in there. That will get like a cavity wax or something in there when the car's more assembled. But I just didn't like the thought. I just didn't like the thought of leaving that bare metal and then trapping that in, because if there's any moisture in there, it's just going to fester if any moisture gets in there, because that is open from the bottom with them little dipped bits, like drain hole sections. So I don't like leaving them bare metal. But yeah, so I'm going to pause for now and let all that paint dry, because I've put it on pretty thick, because that area is going to be completely sealed in eventually, so we don't want anything going rusty in there. So I'm going to have a tidy up, let all that paint go off, get the subframe ready, and we'll come back, temporary fit the subframe, get that bit tacked on, go from there. So we're all prepped, we're all ready. I've got the subframe ready to come in. I've got the new panel over there. Obviously the car's completely upside down now, so we're working on the wrong side. So the new panel is over there, and I've got it wedged into place. There's a little magnet there just keeping it in the right place, but it'll be alright once the subframe's bolted in, because I'll be able to push it back. What I've had to do is, I don't have the correct bolts with me at the minute to fit the subframe, and you'll see when we get it in, one of the mounting pieces that bolts up against here, one's like a thin piece and one's a thick piece, so I don't have a bolt long enough. So what I've done is I've cut the head off the bolts that I have, and I've put them in these holes, one each side of the longer side, so that'll act as like a stud, and like a pin, so I can line it up. I won't be able to bolt it on, but it doesn't really matter for this anyway. I'll be able to push it on so I know it's lined up. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. I can bolt it on the top, and I can bolt it through the floor. It's not going anywhere anyway, so it won't matter that it isn't bolted on properly. At least it'll be lined up, so we know that that panel's square. And then what I'll be able to do is get the welder out, put a few tacks in that panel just so it stays in that position, take the subframe back off, and then I'll weld it fully when I've got access with the subframe off. It's obviously a bit heavy. We're a bit wonky. Over that side. We missed. There we go. Nope. Okie dokie, let's get it bolted in. Right, okay. So that is the subframe bolted in. I've got one bolt on each side and that stud that I mentioned, and a bolt in the back each, and lines up. Had to do a little bit of lever and jiggering and getting things in the right place, but it did drop in eventually. That panel's fitting well enough as well. So yeah, I'm happy with it. We can start welding. So we'll get the welder out, get it set up over there, put a few tacks on to stop the job moving. When I'm happy that it's got enough weld on to stop moving around, I will whip the bolts out, subframe off, weld it up fully. Yeah. I don't know if you're alright. Should really take the welding off. Stay there. Well, there we are, guys. That's our panel all replaced. It's turned out really neat. Yeah, I'm well happy with that. Even this seam here has come out really nice. It's fully welded on the inside as well. The inside's not quite as neat because there was some damage on the floor from where it was welded previously. But by the time we've got some sealer on the inside, we're going to have sealer across this welded edge as well, and stone chip obviously on the bottom. That is going to look absolutely spot on. Yeah, moving forward, we've got these bits up here to look at, and the rear quarter panel at the bottom there. But this side's really coming together now. Really happy. Just a little shot of inside there for you. So welded all the way along that edge. Spot welded through. Welded obviously in there as well. Not too shabby. There we are, guys. That is the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. It ended up being a little bit longer than I expected. Well, the whole job ended up being a little bit longer than I expected. Because we did have to move that floor to the other side. It would have been a much easier situation if that had just been fitted correctly the first time. But hey ho, whatever, we're sorted now. At some point we'll have the same to do at the other side. But I think we can all agree it's much better now than what we started with. There's the piece we cut out. Got now. So yeah, if you enjoyed that video, if it was helpful for you, if you like watching along, please give the video a like. Leave some comments if you've got something to say, if you've got any questions. Leave comments on the videos or pop me a message. You'll find me all over Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But yeah, I'm well happy now. It's starting to get more good bits than bad bits. So we'll continue next time with this corner. Try to get that all buttoned up. But for now, that is the end. My name is Ed. This is Ed's Mini Empire. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share with your mates. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.